Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Board Game Breakfast. I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Chris Yee.
And I'm Wendy Yee.
Hey, we're back from the retreat. But, you know, if you've been following Monday Board Game Breakfast, we never left. Because we did it last week, too. Normally, we do breakfast on Mondays. Today is Tuesday, I think. My days are blurring.
I don't understand why we never left.
Yeah, I don't understand what you meant by that.
Is this like a time warp
that people
thing?
who are watching didn't notice if you only watch Board Game Breakfast.
Yes, all three of you out there, thank you.
Oh.
You don't know that. There might be more people than that. Anyway, we're back from the Dice Tower retreat. We are prepping for the Autumn Spectacular, which is starting a week from yesterday, next Monday. And then a week after that, some of us are heading to Essen. And a week after that, some of us will be heading back from Essen. And a week after that, normality! Not
For
really.
a short amount of time.
Not really.
Catch up is what you mean.
All right, anyway, welcome to Board Game Breakfast. This is where we talk about board games and the people who play them and all sorts of things. We want to say thank you to Forbidden Games for sponsoring the show. Check out Mosaic. We'll talk more about Mosaic in a bit. But right now, we're going to jump to some contributors.
Hi everyone, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Maple University. Tarrant, Rear Window, Alfred Hitchcock movie, Tense the board game.
Yes, this is one of many games in the Mysterium vibe, where you've got one player who knows the answers, playing cards, trying to direct other players to those answers.
But the difference is that one player may draw a murder tile, and that turns the table around. Now it's that one player against the rest, one versus many. But the many wouldn't know.
Yes, it mingles the hidden traitor mechanism with the Mysterium card clue mechanism.
Indeed. So I picked this up from Gen Con. This is by Funko Games. So this kind of like it feels, as you mentioned, Mysterium, and also a bit of Dixit, because you match the pictures. It's not as abstract as Dixit.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more mechanical than that, because each card, it kind of has features on it that, it'll have about 4 or 5 features on it, but you're going to know which 2 or 3 things they might link to. So you've got to use deduction and what little information you get to narrow it down. But yeah, nowhere near as abstract.
Yes, it is a bit tough, like, which one's which, because when you give the clue after the first round, there are 4 rounds, after the maximum, after the first round, the clue giver can, okay, there are 4 correct, but don't tell you which one's correct, which one's not, so we have to reduce it.
Yeah.
And that's Rear Window. Let us know in the comments below what you think of it, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Assalamu alaikum. In the past few weeks, we have talked a lot about Carcassonne variants made by fans, but there are some official variants available by Hans and Glock as official variants of Carcassonne as well. There are a lot of those variants available on their website. There is a file which has been made available, which you can print, available on the BGG file section, so you can download that file, which are made from the official variants. What these variants are going to do is, again, give you different kind of variety of scoring methods, tile drawing methods, different methods in which you can add a little bit more variety in each of your games, and you can then pick up your favorite variant and maybe play in that way forever as well. So for example, one of the essential variants that the game mentions is that you have to discard specific number of tiles based on specific number of players, so that each player is going to get equal number of turns. Then there is my favorite variant, which is going to have 3 tiles displayed all the time in an open market. So you can always place the tile from your hand, or you can place the tile from the open market. So if in your hand you have a crappy road tile which you really don't need, then you can use one of the open market tiles, and as soon as you place it, it will be refreshed. Another variation of this is those 3 tiles are always, each player is always holding 3 tiles in their hands. If you are looking for some additional variants which do really work well, then get those official Carcassonne variants from the BGG file section. It's a printable file which will consolidate all the Hasenglöck official variants. That's it for me. Happy gaming.
All right, so 20 years ago, we had a case, and this happens in the industry sometimes, where two games come out simultaneously. It's the thing we talked about. Actually, this is one of the top things.
Twin
Like
movie
same
games.
themes, yeah.
Yes.
Armageddon, Deep Impact,
And this happened for sure 20 years ago when a game called Wooly Bully came out. It is now called Woolly Wars. I'm not sure why the name was changed.
the little like magnetic toy where you draw the facial hair on the guy.
No.
That's Wooly Willy. What's
I don't
Wooly
even
Bully?
know what you're talking
Okay,
about.
I know what you're talking about, but are you sure it's called... You might have had one that was called that. Those things are sold everywhere and named many different names.
Yeah, but that was the name for it. It was Wooly Willy.
Oh, is that where they have like the pencil shavings on the inside?
Yeah, and you just
Magnetic
draw it with the
shavings.
magnet.
Yeah. Well, okay, but they look like the inside of a pencil.
Anyway, Wooly Bully came out around the same time as Carcassonne.
I'm still thinking of Wooly Bully. Okay, continue.
Carcassonne came out in 1999. Wooly Bully came out in 2002. Or was Carcassonne? No, Carcassonne was 2001. Sorry, and Wooly Bully was 2002. They're very close. It was not a situation where one copied the other. They just both came out. One became very famous. The other became Wooly Bully.
Yeah.
You know. So Wooly Bully, the tiles were in a bag, and you pulled them out because they were double-sided. Something Carcassonne didn't bother doing.
Nope.
And it was just like groups of sheep in your color, and then you were trying to make a big pen of your color by placing these tiles out. That's kind of the way it was. You're making pens. Like, oh, if I put it here, I made Chris's blue sheep in a smaller pen, but I made my red sheep in a bigger pen.
But were there farmers that lay down
There was not.
on the job?
So I liked it. It's fine. It's a fun game. It just is now completely and utterly forgotten. I actually had it in the Dice Tower library very briefly because I thought it's a game that no one else has played and no one wants to, unfortunately.
Well, it didn't invent a new term.
I know Wooly Bully was a song, no kidding.
Sing it. I
Deanna
don't
thinks you don't know music, Tom.
sing it.
You know
Tom.
no music. Let's get
Actually,
this perfectly
I
clear.
believe Wooly Bully is on my playlist of songs. I really like that song, actually, even though it is a bit repetitive. Shut up.
I don't know what's more, Wooly Bully or Feliz Navidad.
No, there's worse ones. Like the most repetitive songs, I'm sure there's something out there.
It is a song that...
I talk to my kids sometimes, we'll be listening to one of these and I'll go, lyric writers, you know, the most original people who exist, because they just... Anyway, we're getting off topic. So Wooly Bully, the board game, the tile laying game, if you find a copy of it, I think it's worth, if you find it like for $5-10, why not? It's a cheap little game. You might like the idea of it. The tiles were pretty good quality. They were glossy-ish tiles on both sides, and I liked the two-sided thing. And it also was not particularly analysis paralysis because it was like, make yours bigger, make other people's smaller, that type of thing. But
The chat demands to know, what do you prefer, Wooly Bully or Chunky Donkey?
Wonky donkey.
no one asked that question. No one asked that question. What are you talking about?
The people demand to know.
Baby Shark. That's a repetitive song.
Baby shark.
Move on to more contributors.
Hit the button!
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're talking about Orlog. If you have played the Assassin's Creed game called Valhalla, inside that game is another game. It's a dice game called Orlog. Well, Ubisoft decided to make it into an actual physical game, and this is what it amounts to. All right, in this game, you are able to kind of like battle Yahtzee. You have 3 chances to roll dice, defend against each other, trying to hit each other with the various symbols. You have melee attacks, you have arrow attacks. You can also try to steal money from each other. Then you're going to use the money that you've earned and stolen in order to use these god tiles to give you special abilities, maybe more health, maybe more damage, maybe even more money, who knows.
Yeah.
So you're using all that together in order to kind of make your goals happen.
I really wanted to like this game. I liked the idea of it. I liked it when we first started, but I didn't. I just ended up not liking this game because there were too many unanswered questions. There was too many things that didn't line up with each other, just things that we couldn't figure out what they wanted, and it seems like such a simple game that you really shouldn't have a game this simple that has that many unanswered questions. I feel like if you're a fan of the video game version of this, you have the answers to those questions. I'm assuming like you just know them, but that knowledge was not transferred anywhere else.
It's a very small rulebook, just 4 pages, and there is no FAQs. There's no references saying how certain things interact with each other. It was very frustrating. There was no answers on BGG. The designers weren't coming to our rescue. Basically, if you're playing this game, you are at the mercy of your own interpretation of the rules because everything I was seeing was just people just guessing on how to resolve things. It was very frustrating. It was a cool concept. I like the idea of pulling those games from digital worlds and making them physical games, but you got to bring all the rules with them.
Yes.
You got to let us know what the rules are so we can
Bring
enjoy
the
it.
whole game with you. Everybody, thank you so much for watching us. If you want to hear more from us, you can find us on Facebook or YouTube under Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Until then, have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye, everybody.
Guys.
Okay, we looked up the lyrics of Wooly Bully here. And
Wooly Bully!
There-
Whoa, whoa, Wooly Bully, yeah!
yeah, but Maddie and Hattie were talking to each other.
But later...
Is Hattie a woman's name? Is that like Harriet?
Yeah, I know a Hattie.
Okay, anyway. What's coming up for the Dice Hour this week? Well, you know what? Reviews. And I know that that's not very helpful, but we're still working on what reviews. But I'll tell you some reviews that we'll talk about. We're going to talk about Twilight Inscription, finally. I know people have been wanting us to talk about that. We're talking about a game that a lot of people have not heard of, but you should have heard of, and that's Caesar's Empire, which sounds super boring, but definitely worth your time. The Splendor Duel. That's a very different game.
Shooby Duet.
3,000 Scoundrels, Terra Nova, and a few other games. On Thursday, Chris and Wendy already did their look at Essen, which I didn't watch because I didn't want it to affect me. It's definitely the reason I didn't watch it.
That is why you didn't.
Shut up. I beat you to the joke.
Also, I'm Chris.
But we're doing, on Thursday, we'll be taking a look at stuff that's coming from Essen. Looking forward to seeing what's going to be there. And something else is going up this week. I forget. What?
Oh, you're talking about...
Oh, Flamecraft. Yeah, we're taking a look at Flamecraft.
Terra Nova this week?
Yeah, Terra Nova. Anyway, so lots of reviews are going up. And other various videos are going to go up. We're still doing our live stuff. Tomorrow we'll be doing crowd surfing on... that might be it.
There's What's Happening today?
Or is there not?
There is What's Happening. What's Happening from Z is starting at 10. And then later today at the table, with me, Eric, and Mark Streed. So lots of videos going up all over the course of this week. We're preparing next Monday for Autumn Spectacular, so there'll be a lot of games we're playing there, a lot of cool things. We hope you check that out. We'll post a schedule for Autumn Spectacular soon, so you can see what games we're going to be playing and other cool things like we'll be doing our top 10 horror-themed games. So that's all coming next week, and then after that, we'll be taking several days off on the Dice Tower while I'll be at the World Series of Board Games in Vegas. So if you're there, I hope to see you, maybe play some games. And then Essen, we'll be trying to put up some coverage of Essen, the Spiel Fair at Essen, while we're there, and Wendy will be doing some stuff here in the studio, and there'll be videos. And then Normality, sponsored by Chris Yee. You would never sponsor Normality.
Ever sponsor that?
He would not sponsor Normality.
How much do I have to pay you to get normality in my life again?
Awkward. Let's go to the next segment.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen, the board game librarian, flipping some pages and pushing some cubes with my segment from the page to the table where I pair books and board games together that share a common theme. This week we are going to look at The Brilliant Life of Eudora Honeysett by Annie Lyons. We follow Eudora Honeysett from about the time of World War II when bombings are happening, and she is sent up north to live with some family members, and kind of her life throughout this from World War II up through current times. And there's also a current time storyline that's also going on, but it really asks, what does it mean to live? What does it mean to die? And what really constitutes a good life? So lots of London going on in here, and a really couple of characters I think you'll really enjoy in this book. So I don't have a box because this is already consolidated into the other ones, but I'm doing Ticket to Ride London. I've done all of them now, well, except for Amsterdam. 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, 10 to 15 minute playing time. So I guess it's a pick your poison with the Ticket to Rides, right? What time period do you like best? Do you like little buses more? Do you like little taxi cars? But yeah, they're all great. They're all fantastic. Do you need all of them in your life? No, I guess you don't. Are they wonderful to take along with you in different places? Yes. Would I recommend any of them to you? Yes. But that's all for this week, friends. Happy breakfast.
Hello, my name is Aaron and welcome to One Word, One Question. Today's word is sleeves. What are sleeves? Well, sleeves are small pockets of protection preemptively placed in order to keep cards pristine over prolonged periods of play. Now, the question is, how many of your games do you sleeve? Answer A, if you sleeve most, if not all of your board games. Answer B, if you sleeve some of your games, perhaps just the important ones. Or answer C, if you don't really sleeve any of your games. As for myself, I am once again in Group B. I typically only sleeve games where damage on the cards would be a detriment to gameplay, such as social deduction games, the Resistance, and the like. Now, I typically don't sleeve games like Smash Up or Dominion because I find that the cards wear relatively evenly and it's not really a big deal. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I look forward to reading them. And if you want to see more videos, be sure to check out Board Games, Bricks, and Hobbies. Take care. Bye.
So we just got back from the Dice Tower Retreat, and often I do videos talking about the Dice Tower Retreat, but we'll talk about it here and a little bit about the games that were played there. I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. It was an amazing time. Might be my favorite. It was definitely my favorite retreat. Might be my favorite convention I've ever been to. I mean, I liked it that much.
Wow.
I mean, I was tired by the end, but I was also relaxing, but tiring because we're running it. But man, so many good games were played. So many, like, seeing friends again. Mm-hmm. People for the first time I never met before felt like friends. And I just had a great time.
Yeah, there were a lot of people who came up and said, this is my first convention ever. And I thought, you're so spoiled. This is a great first convention. And then there were people, of course, who had been to, I talked to a particular guy who said he'd been to Gen Con for over 20 years and he'd been all over the place. And he said, a few days in, he goes, this is my favorite convention I've ever been to. I'm not exaggerating when I say, like, the retreat.
I heard that from a couple different people, yeah. I thought it was super fun because I got to play games. I feel like a lot of our retreats were working, and we're doing a lot of other stuff.
You mean conventions?
What did I just
The
say?
retreats, we always get to play games.
Well, yeah, sorry. The retreats. But this was my first retreat as a Dice Tower employee.
The conventions.
What am I saying?
You said usually at the retreats I'm working, and I was like,
yes,
well, hopefully
usually at
not.
conventions I'm working and doing lots of other stuff. But this is my first retreat as a Dice Tower employee, and it was fun to be able to just sit and play games literally till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, not the 3 o'clock in the morning part, but I was there at 5:30 in the morning.
We were
just about
almost.
passing on the baton, yeah.
I played more games at this retreat than I played at the other the 3 Dice Tower conventions combined. Straight up. But I want to talk about the different games that we saw played there because it's kind of an idea of what happens and what people are interested in. But the Dice Tower Retreat is a cool place because people go there because it's such a long convention. This one was started Tuesday at 5 and went to Sunday at 5. So it was a real 5 days of gaming, Gen Con. Gen Con says they're the best 4 days in gaming. They're the best 3.5 days.
6 days, not 5.
Was it 6 days?
Tuesday to Sunday.
Well, no.
But Tuesday night it starts.
Yeah, it started Tuesday at 5, went to Sunday at 5, so it's 5 days. Don't mess with
I'm
math.
not mathing.
Tom is not
this
claiming
hour.
the 6th day. He doesn't want to be that.
Anyhow.
That person.
Yeah. Well, we're adding another day for next year anyway, so it will be 6 days. But because it's long, people feel like they can do things. Like you don't have to just game every single second. Some people do, though. Don't get me wrong. There are people who are like packing up one game and are already sliding into the next game. But people will play bigger games. Oh, my word.
There's a lot of big games.
We saw multiple games of Twilight Imperium, Eclipse. You said you saw every Lacerda game played?
I think every one that was...
Did you see Vinos?
Not Vinos.
Not Vinos.
Every Eagle Griffin. Every big old...
Every big fancy one.
Yeah.
We saw Battlestar Galactica.
Yes. Blood on the Clock Tower was run many times. I saw there was 2 games of like a dinner theater that were played.
I didn't
There
notice
was...
that.
I played 1843. Is that the...
Isaiah, there was at least one
Remember?
18XX
Yeah.
game played. There was... Someone got out Oath Sworn. Descent? Was Descent played? I don't know. There was just... I'm telling you, there was just big games all the way down the tables and everywhere. The games that were played the most... Well, because we live in Cult of the Future, we brought one prototype because we decided it was a fun game, the Fox Experiment. And that was probably the #1 played game because people just like playing new stuff. I might be wrong, but that was definitely out consistently.
Constantly, yeah.
And then Flamecraft was like right behind it. Those 2 games were almost always on the table. Games that surprised me, Oathsworn was... not Oathsworn. Mosaic. Oh, yeah. I said I was talking about Mosaic. This was like almost always out. There was 2 big games that were almost always out. Mosaic and Foundations of Rome. Well, like as soon as one person was done, someone else grabbed it and set it up.
Yes.
It was almost to the point where we don't have hot games tables at the retreat. We almost could have for those 2. They were constantly being played. Foundation of Rome, constantly. Turing Machine actually was
super busy.
When people said, "Hey, will you teach it to me?" and I look in the shelf and see that wasn't there, and well, that would happen multiple times throughout the
Turing Machine and Cat in a Box got played a lot.
Ark Nova. I mean, we have 3 copies of Ark Nova.
And there was occasionally a time where all 3 were out.
There's occasionally a time where all 3 were on the shelf, and you turn around and there's still 3 games of it being played.
So there was lots of games we played. I played a lot of Ready, Set, Bet because I got a custom board for it made, and that was my game. Although I did manage to get in the game of Magical Athlete and the game of Vabak. I did not play Cosmic, and I should have. And someone asked me to teach it to them at 11, and I was going to bed because I'm not like y'all. And on the way, and I was like, oh, I would love to teach it, but I'm really tired. I'm sorry. And they're like, well, the box lid said to ask you. I was like, it did? I looked at it. Yeah, right. I did write that in the box lid. It said, come find me. Maybe I'll teach it to you.
Oh, man. I played Stay Cool, which I know is not a new game, but it was new to me. And so I played that 3 different days with 3 different
Was there a lot
groups.
of laughter and yelling?
Oh, yeah. It was chaos. Absolute fun chaos.
What was the game that there was a lot of... there was one particular time we were having a loud, raucous, funny game. You walked over, and it was Cat in the Box, I think. And you're like, that's not the game I was expecting to see, this kind of reaction from.
Yes. Well, Chris has a very distinctive laugh. I always know when Chris is laughing across
that is true.
across the convention.
And it's less that the game is that funny, but the people that you play with there are just some of the most pleasant gaming partners that I see once a year. And I'm like, yes, you're back. Let's do it. Also, Dan Hughes was there.
No, but it was fun. And also, everything gets played there. Old games get played. There was one couple came in and they were determined to play all the Felds. Or they played a lot of the Felds anyway.
Even Macau got pulled out.
Yeah.
Did they succeed or did they fail?
I don't... So anyhow, no, but to me it was exciting. There was just gaming going on consistently, but people were also taking time to go visit the local Cuban restaurants and all the different stuff that's in the Miami area. I know people went out and did that.
Someone went to an aquarium, which was cool.
Yeah. And we had the biggest game exchange ever. There was a lot of games being traded off. We had Key Lime Pie Night, which was amazing. But not a whole lot of other events. It's just about gaming. It's fantastic, and...
Well, that Ready, Set, Bet custom board, though, is almost an event.
It almost is an event.
Yeah, people were just gathered around and stuff.
I played it 13 times. I think I taught 70 people, maybe? That sounds right. I know there's a couple people who played twice, but I tried to get as many new people as possible. But that was just the thing I was doing. Next con, who knows what the thing will be that we're doing. There's always stuff, and so many games I taught. I played new stuff, old stuff. And so if you came, thank you. If you didn't come, honestly, you're really missing out. It's really fantastic. But at least we get to see what games people are wanting to play and try out, and we'll find out and how much that holds up over next year. Anyway, that's a Dice Tower Retreat. Let's move on.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm here to talk to you about Venn, which is a competitive or cooperative party game that's got really weird and kind of wonderful artwork and Venn diagrams. Venn is the sort of game where I was excited to play. I really like the idea and concept behind it, but it just never really, whenever it hit the table, it never really rocketed into sort of a lot of fun. And I think that's partially because it's a party game where it's actually normally quite quiet. For the person playing clues out, it feels a bit like in Mysterium style of games where you're the clue giver and you're not allowed to talk to your team. Whereas the other side of the team, they're often staring at the words, scratching their head and going, could this mean this? Could that mean that? And it creates a party game, not a party atmosphere. There is the sort of weird artworks that I think some people will really vibe with. It's not quite a Dixit illustration, but it's still, again, it makes your mind run in various directions. And like I say, the concept of the game, I think, will work with some people. I like the concept, I really do, of putting the cards out on that Venn diagram to try and hint towards the words. It just, to me, felt a little forced when you're like, well, I'm not sure what this card will be good for. It kind of means that it very loosely might mean this other word, so I'll put it between the two. Anyway, that is Venn though. Obviously, if you like it, check it out. And until next time, have a great breakfast.
All right, let's take a look and see what we can get at the BGG store this week. Here we go. So first we have Wingspan Food. So
Not to be confused with real food.
this is from the Oceania expansion. That's the expansion that has the wild food in it. And then this is from the regular game. These are plastic pieces. They work really well. I don't particularly use them in my games because they got little wooden pieces. I think maple source or whatever. But these are probably better actually, just because I love these bits.
Right, the BGG bits are great. The uniform size and everything, they're solid.
They look good.
On that note, there's more bits to show you. This is from Dice Throne Season 1. They also have Dice Throne Season 2, but we actually stuck that in our copy. But these replace all the tokens from Dice Throne. These are amazing.
It is really fun to click-clack and have a big old stack of, I'm going to do 5 poison.
The only problem is I don't know if they're going to be able to make the ones for Marvel Dice Throne because of licensing. Unless it's like Dice Throne for superheroes. I'm not sure how that would work. But yeah,
They
these
fit
kind of sit on that board game.
They fit in the containers nicely too.
Then we have a game here called I'm reading it backwards. Atana, the Looms of Conchi. So tell us about this game, Chris.
Well, this is a game. This is basically Super Checkers. I'm just kidding. It is a multiplayer game, Tom. But the thing is, it's going to require players, to create their own different and unique designs on the board using colorful, let's call them yarns. Yes, I'm reading the back.
Yarns? Does it say let's call them yarns?
No, I'm adding my own flavor
Let's
text.
call them yarns.
Each game requires different strategies and tactics. There will always be an element of randomness. Be the first to earn 8 Annas or victory points to win the game.
We also have a promo pack of cards here for Port Royal, which includes some instructors who basically let you move cards around.
Oh, this is the new edition. This is a big backs edition.
It is. Yeah, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
And then
More ships?
we don't have these then, do we? And then more ships.
We don't. I know what
nice.
I'm doing today, Ferb.
And then this one, I'm not going to open it because I don't want to spoil it, but this is for Micro Macro Full House, Crime City, another bank robbery. So this is like a whole case.
Nice.
Which I think is interesting to me because this is not like a promo that you can just add to the game. That means this stuff was already drawn in there.
Right. There are.
Oh, I'm sure they drew lots of extra stuff in there just for.
There are cases online. There are promo packs you can get, and I think that'd be a neat promo pack. Honestly.
And there's
going to
be like the big combined thing, right?
I don't know if that's super
I don't
public.
know.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I just assumed it was.
I was just told from one of the Pegasus reps to, I was talking to them at Gen Con, I was like, we finished the first box, gave it away to someone, bought the second box, and slid it right into the shelf. And they said, you might want to keep all of them if you get all of them.
Huh.
Interesting.
I saw people playing Micro Macro at the convention.
That's where we learned it last year.
And
at the retreat,
I really
actually.
like your 3D printed little magnifying
The
glasses.
Oh, those are so great because you're like, oh, because earlier I'd be like, where was that thing we saw again? The magnifying glasses are so much easier to see.
We use cubes, but the magnifying glasses you can see through the little holes. You can actually see what you're looking at.
Yeah, it's really cute.
It's great.
Anyway, you can find all this stuff on Board Game Geek. We have lots more to show you in future weeks. Let's keep going.
Let's play Port Royal.
Hey, I'm Jordan. I love little card games. I love, like Scout is great, The Crew, even some like more off the beaten path kind of games. Anansi, which is by Heidelberg Games, was a really great trick-taking game. I grew up playing Spades and Hearts and Kings in the Corner and Jacks and Sevens and all just basic card games. I just love them. And I just love when you just have a deck of cards, you shuffle it up, and you can get to play. You don't have to set anything up. This is Hungry Monkey, a new one from Heidelberg that I was able to try out. And this one is surprisingly really interesting and really cool. It's a card shedding game. So essentially, you're just trying to get rid of all your cards. You're going to, on your turn, play some cards from your hand that are higher in value than the card that was last played. And then you're going to draw back up, and you are trying to get through the deck of cards. And then you're going to you also have these face-down cards in front of you, and you're trying to learn what those cards are, and then also discard them. Sort of like the classic game of golf or Cabo or Silver Coin, those new ones that are kind of riffs off of that golf system. But this one isn't points based. This is more get rid of your cards based. So you're trying to learn what those cards are and then get rid of them. So the game kind of has two parts to it, but it flows together really seamlessly. And it has a wonderful look. It has like a South Asian theme and vibe to it. So it has these really nice like mandala patterns all over it, but then also these really cool cartoon animals, and it just looks really charming, and it comes together super well. And I've been playing the heck out of this one, and I've really enjoyed it. It feels like it's better than it has any business being, and this one's sticking around for me. I really like this one. That's Hungry Monkey. Check it out if you have a chance. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
Mike said the Hungry Monkey cover should have been in our voting from a couple weeks ago.
Clearly.
One thing I forgot to talk about during the retreat. I was gifted possibly my favorite gift I've ever received in life.
Oh, please.
So what is that? What is that, Chris?
This is the Mike DeLisio Egg Cup, handcrafted by one Daniel Hughes. It is to place your soft-boiled egg into atop here, and then you crack it with a spoon, and then you dip your soldiers into it. This will haunt my dreams for many, many years to come.
I've never used one of these. I still don't know. They feel like something a rich person would use.
I would just like to point out how much Chris worried about this getting broken all weekend.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, I can't carry this. I can't put this in a bag. I have to hand carry it, so I can't carry that bag. We have to take an extra trip so that I can make sure that Mike DeLisio's head is perfect.
Yeah, this is precious to me. As precious to me as my own mother and father.
Thanks, folks, for watching Board Game Breakfast. We'll be back later. Z will be back in a few minutes at 10 o'clock with What's Happening, and then I'll be back at 3 o'clock with Eric and Mark Streed for At the Table, and then we'll all be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock for Crowd Surfing, and then Thursday for Board Game Breakfast, and then things we're looking forward to from Essen. So there you go. Lots of other things going up in the meantime. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Wendy Yee.
Have fun eating eggs.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.